just when you think things couldn't get any worse for Adam 22, they get worse by a lot.
Jake, a lot. Say a lot after that. Say it again, but say afterwards, say a lot.
I appreciate you banging my wife.
Oh my God.
And yeah.
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
What's up, guys? It's Bad Decisions, where we watch people make
bad decisions.
It's your boy, Sher.
It's your man, Jay.
So if any of you guys have ever watched No Jumper, one thing that you can always tell is that Adam is completely unbothered. There's a lot of things that go on No Jumper. There's fights, there's curse outs, there's walk-offs. All throughout this entire stuff, completely unbothered. Until today. So watching this interview is probably one of the most awkward things I've ever done, and we're going to get into it.
Did you see it yet?
I saw a few of the clips, and yeah, I think you put it down.
I was going to call it the wedding gift.
For the record, it's not literally your wedding gift, but it was something that we kind of like felt more comfortable with after the wedding and whatnot, right?
For starters, Adam makes a couple big points throughout this entire interview. One of the big points that he makes is that his wife is only getting smashed but for corn star purposes. But if we're being real, it honestly makes no difference to the audience. I mean, she still got smashed, right? It's like he's trying to convince his fans and himself at the same time that he feels no type of way about this, that like, oh, you know, it's a regular the mill, this happens all the time, and it's obvious he does.
She literally asked when they first met if it was only going to be them two for the rest of their lives.
Nope.
Which should let Adam know something was up. I mean, literally, what that indicates is that from the beginning, she's been fiending for a stranger's salami. Let's get real, Adam. I mean, the entire podcast is essentially Lena trying to convince Adam that he's okay with his wife playing bedroom games with another man.
The delusion continues when he asks for confirmation from Lena that he is not a cuck. And then he asks the performer that she did it with whether or not he was a cuck. And then, you know, the one that did eggplant gymnastics on there. It's funny because when he asked the performer gave his opinion, was like, yeah, you know, it's fine, but I'd never do it.
The cuck narrative is very, very strong. I just want to get your thoughts on that, and if how people should think about that in the context of me being, you know, the silent third party in all this.
It's not so much being a cook. If you're comfortable with it, y'all communicated it prior. Obviously, she said y'all did. So if you're cool with it, then you know it is what it is. Me personally, I don't know if I have enough in me to allow it, but everyone's different. Everyone have different levels of, how I say, mental maturity.
Look, I'll give Lena a little bit of credit. She's trying to help her man out and be in his corner. I mean, the entire interview, or at least a part of it, she was trying to explain to Adam what being a cuckle-doodle-doo really is and the definition of it. And she was essentially saying that in order to be a cuckle-doodle-doo, you have to enjoy being humiliated, or enjoy being humiliated by the sight of your wife going to the gym and having a sweaty, intense workout with another man. But let's be real here. Just based off Adam's discomfort that you can clearly see in this interview, there's at least some slight bit of humiliation he's feeling. And therefore, by definition, that would make him what? A cuckle-doodle-doo. So I'm sorry, Adam, but this is what it is.
Here's a couple questions that arise, though. So part of the interview, he mentions that actually being a cock-a-doodle-doo is a turn-on for him. If this is a turn-on for him, then why does he deny being a cuck-a-doodle-doo? Like, he makes such a point to distinct himself away from being a cuck-a-doodle-doo that it kind of goes against itself. Why would he say that he enjoys seeing his girl get plugged when he just keeps denying it throughout the interview that this is not the title that he wants?
Throughout the interview, there's so many examples that show how uncomfortable he was with the situation. For example, let's go through a few. When Lena left to do the shoot, she said that Adam barely said goodbye to her. And he claimed that he was distracted, but really he was feeling a little bit uncomfortable in that moment about the decision he had made.
I was like, I think I'm going to shoot with Jason tomorrow. And you were like, okay. And I walked away, went to wash the dishes or something. And then I come back and you're just like, no kissing. And I was like, okay, that was like the extent of the conversation.
Right.
Number two, he literally mentions that he had to play poker to distract himself. And he says that poker is one of those things that he can get into the zone and tune the world out. Now we know why he had to do that.
And then I left the next day to do it, and you barely said bye to me because you were playing poker.
I said bye. I mean, I'm playing 8 tables at the same time. I mean, it's kind of hard, but...
And then
I'm so glad that I was doing something that is like requiring of the most cognitive load possible. So it made it kind of hard to think about it while it was happening. And then by the time you got back home, I'm like basically like finishing up poker then. So I didn't really have a ton of room to think about it while it was occurring, which was nice.
It was the best place for you to be, for sure.
Then after the shoot was done, Lena said he started making passive-aggressive jokes to her about how she's a cheater, and I think she asked him something about laundry, and he was like, "Oh, you're a cheater. I can't stand you right now." And he tried to play it off like he was just joking and he was okay with it, but really we all know that every joke has a bit of truth, and this joke has a lot of truth.
You guys don't understand. I went to shoot this scene, and Adam has been low-key calling me a cheater as a joke. Or like the other day, I was like, "Can you help me with the laundry?" And he was like, "I'm having a really hard time. How dare you?" And I'm just like, "You're throwing this shit in my face, even though you're a part of it."
And the kicker for me is when he reluctantly agreed with Lena that he would probably get turned on by watching her have a sweaty gym workout with her personal trainer. I mean, at first he was like, no, and she's like, are you sure? Because in the past you've been turned on by things like that. He's like, well, maybe. He's like, he's just trying to force himself to really think he's gonna enjoy watching that. I don't know. I mean, I know they're freaks, but I don't know. Now listen, with all that being said, I do think that Adam is genuinely conflicted about it. Number one, because their relationship is already alternative to say the least. So I think he is into some kinky stuff, and this might feed into that kink, but at the same time, I don't think he's all the way there. For example, he says he's excited about the money that they're going to make from this, and I believe that. I really do. He also claims that one of the biggest reasons, or if not the biggest reason why he held off on letting Lena do this for so long is because he was worried about the internet backlash he would face. And I believe that's true as well. But two things can be true at the same time. And while he might truly believe those things or feel that way, at the end of the day, I don't really think that he is okay with it. In the entire interview, you can see himself trying to rationalize it, intellectualize it, and force himself to be okay with it. But really, I think if he could go back and make the decision again, he probably would say no.
Let me just be all the way real about this, right? I don't believe in judging people based on their preference. So if you like strawberry ice cream, I don't believe in shaming someone and be like, oh, you gotta like vanilla. I don't think that's gonna change someone who likes strawberries ice cream mind. If anything, they're gonna just eat strawberry in private and tell you it's vanilla. But it's clear to me that this is not something that he wanted. Matter of fact, there's a certain part of the interview where he mentions that after the scene that he'd have to think about whether or not he'd want Lena to do another scene with somebody else.
We'll cross the how many more people will Lena work with in the duration of her career. We'll cross that bridge at some point.
I have to get Adam's okay, and it's probably going to be after the scene comes out and he sees how it plays out.
We're going to have to do some review. I told her early on, I'm like, I just don't want to feel like indebted to have to like be on board with this like nonstop throughout the future.
If this is something that you're comfortable with that potentially turns you on, like, would this even really be a conversation of her hooking up with another person right after it because this is your regular lifestyle and you get turned on by it? Probably not. If anything, it just kind of feels like, you know, he had his fun in the past. I know he mentioned that he had also cheated. So maybe in his mind, this is like, okay, well, I did some bad. Maybe she gets to do some bad. It'll even it out. But ultimately, to be honest, like inside a relationship, it's okay not to want to get even because I feel like that just makes for a toxic situation. If you're always trying to out even each other on toxic behavior, I think it ultimately just ends up in a collapse for a marriage, for a relationship, and for anything else, to be honest. I just think it's toxic all the way around.
No, it's a great point. A great point about the fact that you should not try to one-up your spouse. So yeah, at the end of the day, I agree with you. I think that Adam is not okay with it, as you clearly pointed out. If he really was into that lifestyle of, because let's be honest, there are genuine people out here that are into that lifestyle. They literally call it the lifestyle, and there are different shades of it. And there are some men who genuinely enjoy watching their wife go to gymnastics class with men.
And eggplants.
And, you know, they like chocolate ice cream or whatever flavor ice cream that is. That's probably like, whatever the nastiest flavor ice cream is probably that flavor. But I'm kidding. That's what they like. But like you said, if Adam has to really think about it, is he really into it? Nah.
No. I don't buy it for a minute. Matter of fact, I don't buy it for a second. Nah. This is just a case of trying to cover up an L with some money, man. Money don't cover up anything. You know, you put money into a hole, it's still gonna be a hole, bro. But
no. If I find that hole with money, it'll be a hole with money until I get there. Then it'll go back to being a hole because I'll have the money.
what he said. All right. So, guys, this has been Bad Decisions. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and let us know if we made a bad decision, or if you like what we had to say. All right, guys, we're out.